Hey, I'm Colleen Suchecki. Are you a woman business owner that has hit a plateau or feels stuck in your business? Or maybe you're in a place where you know you want to make a lot of changes in your business, but you don't really know what or what's next. So you're super motivated, you're strong, you're a go-getter, and you've been trying to figure this out and make the changes. But if you're really honest with yourself, not much has changed. And now the stress and the anxiety and the overwhelm about being stuck or being at this plateau has gotten to a point where it's like, okay, something needs to change now. And maybe you don't know what it is or how to do it, but you just know it needs to happen. Now, I want to share with you what's really going on, where the root of where this is coming from, and what needs to happen so that you can actually move forward. Now, this may really surprise you, but the real reason you're stuck is that there is an unhealed past trauma or crisis that's holding you back. Now, I know you may be thinking, Colleen, what are you talking about? How is it that something that happened maybe years ago, what does that have to do with my business now? Or what does a trauma have to do with what's happening now in the present? Now, let me share with you how the two are connected. And before I do that, I first want you to understand that, when I say the word crisis or trauma, I'm talking about any experience that negatively impacts you. So it could be maybe a divorce or an illness of a loved one or a loss of a loved one. Maybe a health crisis or unhealed childhood trauma such as being bullied or any type of abuse, like whether it's physical, sexual, emotional, or even having an experience where you had a parent that was really critical of you all the time and you felt like you would never do anything right. All of those experiences leave an impact on you, and it actually impacts you more than you realize. So when you go through a trauma, your whole body changes, your physiology changes, your nervous system changes, and there are connections that are made that were never there before. There are limiting beliefs and fears and triggers that develop, and then they stay there permanently unless you rewire your body by healing from that trauma. And I'm not talking about coping. I'm not talking about just surviving through it. I'm talking about healing so that that experience has no power over you ever again. These triggers that develop start to actually sabotage you from taking the action you need to grow your business. So whether it's being more powerful in your sales conversations, or doing more networking, or using video, or speaking, or blogging, it can also prevent you from having the clarity about what you really want next. So you can stay in confusion and being overwhelmed, sometimes for weeks, months, or even years. And you end up stuck at this plateau, knowing that something needs to change, but you can't seem to do it on your own. Now, I want to explain to you what I mean by trigger so that you can see and connect how it's impacting your actions. And I think the best way to describe it is to give you an example. So I want you to think back when you were younger and you were dating someone and you're totally in love and you had this song together and you have your favorite hangout, and then that person breaks up with you and they break your heart. And then you're driving down the road maybe months or maybe sometimes years later, and that song comes on the radio and you're instantly in tears. Or you go back to that hangout and all you can think about is that person. Well, in reality, there is no connection between that song or that place and that person that broke up with you, except that it has become connected and wired together in your body. And it will stay that way until you heal from that experience. And, the same thing can happen in your business. So there are triggers from those unhealed traumas that are stopping you. So maybe you had a trauma where you had felt rejected or abandoned or criticized. And a part of you wants to avoid at all costs putting yourself in a position to ever feel that way again and reopen that wound. So it becomes a trigger. So any event where you may put yourself out there more and may get yourself into a position where you could be rejected, you start avoiding it and you're not even realizing it. So maybe it's picking up the phone and following up with potential clients. Or again, standing in your power in the sales conversations, or being more powerful when you're networking or speaking. And the only way to rewire your body and remove these triggers is by healing from this past experience. Now, this is what's necessary for you to become unstuck in your business or become clear. And by the way, like talking to friends or talking to family members or even talking to a therapist is not, although it can be helpful in one way, it's not going to address the core issue, which is that your body is wired a certain way. It's not going to rewire your body. So if you're in a place where you are motivated, you're committed, and you're ready like to say, you know what, this is happening. I'm going to take my next leap. So I want you to invite you to a transformational event that's called Your Next Leap. So it has the power to totally change your life and totally change your business. Now, in the event, we're going to be talking about what it is that you want and how to transcend what holds you back that comes from those traumas, like the mindsets, the fears, the beliefs, and what needs to change in order to create it. So all you need to do is go to www.yournextleapliveevent.com for more information and to register. And this is going to be a very intimate group of women. So there's going to be 10, 12, 15 women max. And there's one event on Saturday, June 13th from 9 to 5 in Danvers, and one event Thursday, June 25th from 9 to 5 in Manchester, New Hampshire. Again, go to www.yournextleapliveevent.com, and I look forward to supporting you in taking your next leap. I'm Colleen Suchecki. Have an awesome day.